I want to talk about something almost every founder I meet struggle with. Even the most capable ones, decisions. Not big philosophical life decisions, everyday ones. The hire, the price, the direction, the conversation you need to have. You have that information, you have done the research, you have plenty of genuine data in your head, plenty of different sparks of ideas in your head. You genuinely know the work itself, and you still cannot pull the trigger. And today, I want to break down why that happens. Why smart, capable, well researched people freeze on the decisions they are completely equipped to make, and a simple practice to get unstuck. Here's the thing, when you stuck on a decision, you're qualified to make the problem is almost never information. You're not missing data points at this point. If you were, you would you would go get it, you would generate, go get more research done, more get opinion viewpoints done. But this is a different section which you're talking about. The problem is that somewhere along the way you learn that making the wrong decision is dangerous, that you need someone to approve it first. Opinion, like I mentioned, is one thing, validation and approval is second. That is safer to wait in itself is another thing. To ask around, to seek validation, then to trust your own read and move. So you procrastinate the whole thing in itself. You call it thinking it through, you call it being careful, but underneath you're waiting. Waiting for certainty that never comes, waiting for someone to tell you it is okay, waiting for guarantee that you cannot get. And while you wait, the decision makes itself, usually the worst way, by default through inaction. The inaction is the most bad thing that could happen to you, and because of indirect reason, this inaction always have a negative direction. And towards the end, your belief system becomes more stubborn, in the sense I knew this wouldn't work, and that leads to self negative talk as well. Now, let me reframe the whole thing for you. What is the worst that happens if you decide you are wrong? You correct it. Correct? That is it. A wrong decision caught early is just information. You adjust, you move on. So for example, let's say you started a business and everything is in the initial. For some reason, there might be multiple cue points there. Ad must be different, backend checklist must be different, the settings must be different, targeting must be different, the landing page must be issuematic, the video in itself is message is not right, the funnel may be wrong, the information taking in must be too much. There are 10,000 checkpoints to it. Now, when something like that scenario happens in our life also, which most of the time happens, in the sense there are multiple checkpoints to go through, we might not know what might be wrong. We can take an opinion of experts, and multiple opinion helps us pinpoint one location and then take action on that. But many times what happens, because there are so many multiple viewpoints and you have the idea also, and which might be the wrong, because you have your own data to tally with, you end up seeing so many things to change, so you become indecisive also. And when that indecisive strikes, you end up just taking no decision or a lot of changes altogether, which again doesn't solve the problem. Now let's say if you take a systematic take step by step approach on making that decision, and let's say the decision is not correct, you will get the information then and there itself, then you can correct it. So it's like a systematic approach towards it also. But a decision endlessly delays cost you far more than a wrong one. If let's say you just procrastinate and then think, okay, I should have changed it, change this, change that, and you end up thinking about 10,000 different things instead of just executing one. It cost you momentum, it cost you the learning. That one comes from acting, and it slowly cost you something bigger, your trust in yourself. Every time you wait for someone else to validate that or validate what you already know, you teach yourself that your own judgment is not enough, and the belief compounds from there. And when you take, let's say, other kind of decision, which I told, multiple decision all at once, and that doesn't work out, that also adds up to the compounding effect of negative talk. The founders who move, who decide, act, correct, decide again, build a completely different relationship with themselves. They learn that they can be wrong and survive, that they can trust their own read, that the ground does not disappear when they choose without permission. That self trust is worth more than any single decision being right. So, here is that practice. Simple. Do it next time you are frozen. Sit down. Write down the part that is actually confusing you. Get it out of your head and onto the paper. Or the part where you're facing the most issue according to you. Then ask yourself one question: what is actually causing the hindrance here? Not what is the right answer. What is stopping me from choosing? The answer will come. Sometimes two answers will come. And often what surfaces is not about the decision at all. It is the fear underneath. And the fear of being wrong, the fear of someone's disapproval, the fear of owning the outcome, and the list goes on and on. And this indirectly in turns affect your internal state, your energy, your frequency, and your manifesting process. And once you see all of this clearly, make the decision anyway. Based on what you know, you have done the work, you have the research. What has been missing was never more information, it was the willingness to implement without permission. Decide, act, correct. If needed, that loop is how you build both a business and a self you can actually trust. Because without that, you'll be always stuck in indecisiveness, and the worse than that also is negative self talk. So this week, catch yourself waiting. Notice the decision you have been running or turning over for days that you are fully equipped to make. And instead of seeking one more opinion, one more reassurance, sit down, write the confusing part, find what is really stepping you or really stopping you from choosing that particular decision. Sometimes, after you start writing it down, you will get a decision, but you have to ask a second question, like I mentioned here, on what is stopping you from taking a decision. Worst case, you are correct. It, and that is the best case actually. It is exactly right. You might end up taking a decision and it turns out to be the best thing you must have ever done. Either way, you take back a little bit of trust in yourself, and that is the thing that actually changes your life. And the best part, you get the data point which will help you expand and excel. And if you want to understand why waiting for permission became your pattern in the first place, that is what the free video and a conversation with me are for. The link is the bio. I'll see you on Monday.